we have seen that over the last 1 year, the way generative AI wave has taken over, uh, all the enterprises who are forward-looking are experimenting using generative AI to create amplified business outcomes. However, there is a fair amount of justified fear in many other enterprises that believe that there are questions around governance of the technology and whether machines are going to take over the entire process, whether the data will be kept private within the enterprise. So there are several of these questions that lead to fear amongst many of the user community, many of the implementing community, and therefore it is important for enterprises to think holistically about their AI and generative AI journey and roadmap within the enterprise, and not just be focused very tactically on just the technology element. We strongly believe that with the technology element, they should look at implementing what we call responsible AI techniques, so that it provides for guardrails within the organization and enables them to implement AI, safe AI for the enterprise. Enterprises today are increasingly looking at becoming more and more responsible when they use AI at scale. And essentially, there are 4 or 5 key variables or parameters that they should look at. In TechM's experience, these are the 5 that we kind of look at when helping clients become more mature in the use of AI. The first and foremost is fairness and trying to and ability to remove bias when they are building models, when they are doing algorithms, when they are looking at generating outcomes from each of these techniques. We have seen that over the years, if you look at using data, there is always some human error that creeps in, that creates bias. Sometimes it is not known to the individual, but the bias still creeps in. It could be in form of a bias against a race, gender. It could be bias against a particular incident that might have happened, and therefore there are several categories of this bias that can creep in. Now there is an opportunity now for the enterprises to use generative AI techniques to be fair in the way they use the data sets and generate outcomes, and this will help them remove bias. It's not an easy task, but the ability to bring around processes, look at data differently, helps customers become more and more fair as they look at responsible AI. The second key element is the element of ability to interpret data correctly and with transparency. Many customers today, with generative AI techniques, customers find it difficult to understand what goes into interpreting a set of data set the way machines do. And therefore the work to enable this whole process to become as transparent as possible can ensure that enterprises are able to explain AI better, are able to ensure that the end users understand how the data is being interpreted. And this becomes particularly difficult when you're using generative AI techniques. In the traditional approach to AI, you had more and more of what-if rules, and therefore it was slightly more easier to trace back where the wrong interpretation happened, if that was the case. In generative AI, it is somewhat difficult to trace easily, and therefore the approaches that a company can use to become more transparent in the way the models are interpreting data set becomes very crucial as you implement responsible AI. The third element is that the element of privacy. Models that work on data sets sometimes end up using data which an individual may not be comfortable sharing, and therefore is there a better way to create guardrails? Is there a better way to ensure that data privacy is kept paramount? So that's a crucial element while implementing responsible AI. The last couple of factors is how do you ensure that the AI implementation is secure and safe. There are techniques that ensure that the outcomes generated are not, the data sets don't get poisoned, so the outcomes affect a particular targeted segment in a different way, and therefore the approaches that ensure that the AI used is secure, is safe for employees to be able to deploy in their context and generate the outcomes that they desire, and not necessarily the outcomes that are an outcome of a malpractice or some model theft that has happened, or a data set poisoning that has happened. So these are the 4 to 5 variables that we believe at TechM are crucial for enterprises to implement responsible AI. Sure. So Tech Mahindra has a suite of offerings called Amplify that help enterprises use AI and generative AI now to create amplified outcomes. Now, in using those suite of offerings, customers enjoy not just the benefit of technology progress, but also our offerings when it comes to implementing responsible AI. What we bring to bear is tremendous amount of experience of working with our key partners, software technology partners who are building these products that use generative AI, that generate outcomes, that have models. At the same time, work with ecosystem partners to ensure that we are able to bring a consultative approach for our customers in implementing responsible AI approaches that target the 4 to 5 key variables that I just spoke of a few minutes back. It is important for every single enterprise to put the guardrails in place so that employees can enjoy AI and the benefit that it offers in the true sense of the word. The second thing we do is we make those practices, the recommendations, the frameworks around responsible AI much more robust by dogfooding them within our company. And unlike many of our peers, TechM is part of a larger Mahindra & Mahindra group, and which offers us tremendous opportunities to test responsible AI techniques in not just in IT environment that TechM is, but also manufacturing company that Mahindra Auto is, Mahindra Resorts, which is one of the largest time-sharing vacation company, and many others. So it gives us on-the-ground experience of what it takes to implement responsible AI within the enterprise with a context for the business process that the industry belongs to. We have also implemented this within TechM, so all the employees, developers that are using pair programming today, for example, have to attest to all the security norms, the safety regulations that we put in place, the guardrails that we kind of put in place as they seek the license for using these pair programming techniques. So that's the second thing we kind of bring to bear. The third is we have consulting offerings that help customers in governing all of this. So sometimes you may have processes in place, you have tested them out in different contexts, but what are the key matrices that you're monitoring? It becomes very crucial. And with generative AI being fairly a nascent technology, a new technology, definition of the right KPIs is still not consistent. And therefore TechM's offerings help clients put down definition of what the monitoring KPI should be, how do we trace back where the model started to interpret, was there data poisoning, and so many of those things which are crucial in the business context. We enable enterprises to set the right KPIs and then monitor them as they look at usage of AI across the enterprise. And these are the three things we believe TechM does for its customers. These are the three things we believe TechM does for the customers to accelerate their journey of improving the guardrail maturity. At the same time, ensuring that they don't become too closed. It's an easy and a no-brainer that sometimes when you put too many strong guardrails, you start to slow the organization down. And therefore, the templates, the process, the approach that we bring to bear while it puts the safety guardrails within the enterprise for responsible AI, it also ensures that there's significant amount of agility that the enterprise stays true to, which is what the business demands today. The ability to use generative AI to create new products, launch them faster in the market, the ability to use generative AI to look at improving productivity of the employees like developers who are using tech to generate code, and many other use cases, right? Can I become more customer centric in my approach? All these use cases drive tremendous amount of outcomes for customers, but if the responsible AI techniques slow the enterprise down, the outcomes get compromised. And therefore TechM's ability to make sure that there is a fine balance between responsible AI, which is absolutely required, the right parameters to monitor, the right offerings to help them in the maturity journey, and the right definitions of KPI helps them put the guardrails within the organization, at the same time generating outcomes, business outcomes through the use of technology in that. So that's what we do at using responsible AI.